Hello everyone, my name is Theodor from Market Car, and today I'm going to show you 9 reasons why you need to buy a BMW 7 Series right now. And I'm also going to show you 4 things to look out for when buying one. This right here is my friend's 2015 BMW 730D xDrive. He's had it for 4 years now and he loves this car, which is exactly why I think you should get one as well. And as always, we're going to go through the reasons from worst to best, so make sure to stick around until the end. And with that being said, let's move on to reason number 9 is this car's exterior styling. When this generation of the 7 Series came out in 2015, it replaced the F01 generation, which came before it. This was actually BMW's first G Series car, which meant that it was a big departure from the styling that they had before. The facelift model was even more of a departure from the general styling of BMW. This car has to have one of the best side profiles of any sedan ever made, and a really cool detail on the side of the car is you can see that there's this almost hockey stick-like chrome trim piece, which actually has a functional vent right here. The facelift version of the 7 Series also has a hockey stick there, but it's more of a scythe, and I doubt they'd let you play hockey with that. The back of the 7 Series is also very beautifully designed. You've got this huge chrome bar going along the whole back side of the car, and it even goes into the taillights. And on all models, you get dual exhaust pipes, although the pipes aren't actually this trim right here. They're actually a lot smaller right here inside of the trim. Reason number 8 is the key. Now, the interesting thing about the key of the 7 Series is that this was the first generation of the 7 Series to have this so-called display key. You'll have an additional screen in the middle. Now, this is really cool because when you open the screen, you can see stuff like if your car is locked or unlocked, if your lights are on, what your range is, and you can set a climate control setting to make sure that your car is at the perfect temperature when you want to leave for work. And the most important part, you can see if your BMW needs service. Now, of course, on a lot of BMW models from this era, if you hold the unlock button on the key, the windows will start to lower. And then when they lower, the sunroof, if you have one, is starting to open as well, which is really cool that you can do that from the key. But something you can do even without the key is you can just hold this button right here on the door handle, and then the sunroof will start to close and the windows will start to close, and even the side mirrors fold in automatically. This allows you to use basically all of the vehicle's functions without ever needing the key. The 4th thing you want to look out for when buying one of these is the long model. Now, this right here is the regular version of the 7 Series, the 730D for example, and it's 5.1 meters long, which is pretty much more than any other car you'll see out there on the road. But what's really cool is that this car is also available as a long model, so it would be a 730 LD if it was a long model. And of course, as you might have guessed, the long model actually extends the length of the car from 5.1 meters to 5.27 meters, which is around 17 centimeters. And what's really great about that is most of that length is actually in the wheelbase, and more specifically right here in the back door. So in the long model, you would actually get around 13.5 centimeters of extra legroom. Reason number 7 is the lighting in this car. First of all, the daytime running lights on this car look really amazing. Now, what's really cool about the headlights themselves are they are adaptive LEDs as standard. You could also get this car with the optional laser headlights. And another thing that's unique to this pre-facelift generation of the G11 7 Series are the fog lights. BMW actually discontinued the fog lights on the facelift version of this car, and they also don't have them in any of the new models anymore. They say it's because fog lights don't actually improve safety that much in foggy conditions, but they obviously forgot to take into consideration the fact that you look cool as hell driving at night with your fog lights on in your 7 Series. And the amazing lighting continues here at the back, where you have these amazing taillights. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that I'm a taillight guy, and I have to say this is probably in one of my top 10 taillights ever made. And another thing that BMW did really well on these cars are these amazing turn signals that basically light up the entire neighborhood when you put on your turn signal at night. It's such a shame that this is probably the first and last time that you're going to see these. Reason 6 to buy this car is the powertrain. In the 730D model, we've got a 6-cylinder inline-6 turbo diesel engine under the hood, and this engine is actually twin power turbo, which is BMW's really weird way of saying single turbo. In this car, it makes 261 horsepower and 457 pound-feet of torque, which is actually more than the Ferrari 458, which only makes 398 pound-feet of torque. Now, what's really cool about this engine is that they literally use the exact same engine with the same turbo in the 740D model, which means that if you really wanted to, you can get this car tuned to 315 horsepower. And what's even cooler is that the 750D model uses the same engine but 4 turbos instead of 1, and it makes 394 horsepower. And just think about how cool you could be when you explain to people that you've actually got 4 turbos in your 7 Series. Now, before we continue with the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Nemanja for letting me borrow his car. Thank you, Nemanja. I also want to give a quick shout out to this channel sponsor, and that's you. Thank you so much for bringing this channel to 2,050 subscribers. Really means a lot to me. And I've set a goal to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you want to help me out, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the video. Now, the third thing to look out for when buying one of these is the remote key. And no, I don't mean the remote of the car. The display key that we just talked about actually has a cool feature that you have to pay for. And I swear, when I heard about this was like the coolest thing. It blew my mind. Basically, what you can do through the key is start the car up and move it. How it works is you press a button to start the car and then hold it, and then the car will slowly start to move forward or backward to help you get out of some tight parking space. Of course, if I had that feature, I would probably just use it to move my car around the driveway for fun, but I guess it's also possible that it helps you with parking. Reason number 5 is the technology in this car. This car has rear wheel steering. You can see now that I've turned the wheel, the rear wheels actually turn the opposite direction from the front wheels. This car actually comes standard with air suspension, and there's also a driver's package that you can upgrade to, which actually scans the road in front of you to decide exactly how stiff the suspension should be at every single moment in time. And one of the coolest features in this car is this automatically opening trunk. You just kind of kick it right here between the middle of the rear of the car, and the trunk just pops open. And another cool feature are the soft close doors. You can see that when you're closing the door, you barely actually have to touch it to the door. It actually pulls the door into the car. Now, in the front of the car, there's actually some pretty cool technology as well. For example, these grills actually open up when the car detects that it needs more air, and they also close up at higher speeds to improve aerodynamic efficiency. And inside of the car, the technology just continues. There's a heads-up display, there's a full LCD gauge cluster. Okay, now that we're in the back of the 7 Series, I do want to talk about reason 4, which is the interior luxury of this car. Now, you can see that we're in a bit of a special situation where someone in the front seat has pulled their seat too far back, and now I'm a bit uncomfortable here. Of course, they made a solution for that. You drop this center console right here from the middle, and then you just push the seat in front of you forward. This is one of the only cars that I've seen that the back seat is actually the one that does the reclining. This car also comes with this detachable tablet right here, and from this tablet you can actually do quite a few cool things. For example, you can click on this button right here, it says close all, and then your rear sunshades all go up, and if you click open all of a sudden both your rear sunshade lowers and your sunroof opens. And then what's really cool is that you can actually use this tablet to control these screens that you have in front of you, and the headrests actually have these pillows on them which have an inscription with the letter 7 in case you're forgetting which car you're in. And these pillows have to be one of the most soft pillows I've ever laid my head on. I swear BMW would probably make a killing just selling these as a standalone product. Now, the number 2 thing you want to look out for when buying one of these cars is the executive package. In the long version of these cars, you had the option to get the executive package, which replaces this middle seat right here with a permanent center console. It separates the left and the right passenger in the rear. That means that you're only going to have 4 seats, but it also means that the 2 passengers in the back are going to be traveling in much more comfort. For example, the passenger seat right here can completely lower down, so you can fully extend yourself and basically sleep in your car while your driver is chauffeuring you around. Another cool part of that executive package is the fridge you can get right here, where you can store your champagne. And another really cool feature of that executive package is that right here you get a really nice white light that is in the same design language as with all the lights in the rest of the interior. I guess it's supposed to help you read or do your makeup or something, and that's how you know you got the real VIP model. Reason 3 you want to buy this car is the sound. This car comes stock with a Harman Kardon sound system, but what you really want in this car is the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins sound system. I think at the time this could have been like a $5,000 or a $10,000 option. The sound system in this car is beyond amazing, and the best part is that instead of the boring speaker covers that you get in basically every other car, here you get these brushed aluminum covers on the speakers pretty much everywhere, on the door panels, even in the rear of the car. And what's really cool is that these speakers actually have lights in them which create a really nice effect when you're driving at night. It just makes it that much cooler. And now let's hear how this 3-liter inline-6 diesel sounds. There you go, you heard it right there. It sounds pretty good even for a car that's not supposed to be that sporty. And something that even surprised me is how good the turbo sounds. You heard that turbo blow-off valve. I literally cannot imagine how good the quad turbo engine sounds. Reason number 2 you'd want to buy this car are the driver amenities. First of all, one of the coolest things you get in this car are these amazing seats with this amazing quilted leather right here. Just looks absolutely fabulous. And the great thing about these seats is that they actually have a massaging function. So right here you can press a button and then all of a sudden your seat starts to massage you while you're driving. Now another really cool thing in the interior of this car is the ambient lighting, which like from the back you can also change right here in the front, and it really makes a big difference of how this car looks. In the interior of this car you've also got this thing that they call an ionizer, and basically it's kind of a fragrance for your car. Another cool party trick in this car is the gesture control. Basically if you do this type of motion, then you can see that the music starts to turn on. All of these things might seem like gimmicks at first, but when you're driving and you're bored, these things become kind of the main thing that you like this car for. And that's really the thing about this car, is that yes, it's a perfect car to be chauffeured in, but when you get this shorter wheelbase model, it's also a really nice car to drive. Even with a longer wheelbase model, this car will be really nice for your chauffeur to drive. The number one thing you want to look out for when buying one of these is the M package. Now the M package on these cars actually brought about a lot of changes. For example, here on the front grille, it looks a lot more aggressive in the M package spec. And right here on the side, this trim around the doors, which is chrome on the base model, you can get as black trim on the M package models. Same with the hockey stick that we talked about earlier. And right here in the rear of the car, you also get a bit of a different, a more aggressive bumper. And you can also get this chrome trim right here across the whole trunk. You can get it in black. The M package on this car is definitely something that's going to make it look a bit more unique, a bit more sporty, a bit more nicer to you. Okay, now without a doubt, the number one reason why you'd want to buy a BMW 730D or any 7 Series in general is because of how nice it is to drive. Yes, a long car like this, like a limo, is supposed to be something that you're chauffeured in, but you forget that it's a BMW limo, which means that it's still a driver's car after all. Manual mode. It just sounds so good. The fact that this car comes with air suspension is standard, and just coupled with the fact of how long the car is, how great the tires are, just how comfortable it drives. You know, this might be a car that sometimes you swap places with your driver because of how nice it is to drive. The adaptive headlights are amazing, the heads-up display is amazing, the LCD display is amazing, the drive modes are amazing, sunroof is amazing, ambient lighting is amazing. Pretty much everything in this car is amazing, and all of that is best demonstrated when you're behind the wheel, not when you're sitting back there. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you next time. Bye.